Hello, my name is Nina Arnberg. I am a science educator here at Menlo School.
Oh, hi, I'm Elise Chen, and I'm a freshman at Menlo School.
Hello, I'm Bishakha M. I'm an advisor at Science Philanthropy Alliance.
Thank you, Bishakha and Elise, for joining me today. I want to congratulate you, Elise, on an excellent project, as well as a brilliant presentation. And thank you to Bishakha for mentoring Elise. I'm really excited to get an opportunity to chat with both of you today. So Elise, your project is near and dear to my heart as an evolutionary biologist and researcher. Before making my way to education, I was just so impressed with your project, just what you had decided to do. I know that we discussed what access did you have to materials here at Menlo. Why did you want to focus on genetics and DNA and a biology project, a topic that you haven't even explored yet as a freshman at Menlo?
So I think I talked a little bit about it in my presentation, but basically the reason I got interested in bio was, or especially CRISPR, was a book that I read. And I think I just found it super interesting, and I read it last year in 8th grade, and so I just like had that interest starting. And then specifically about like genetics, I think because it's so like closely related to our lives, like just like I think I was super interested by that because of like how it's like basically our like futures and everything.
Yeah,
So
great. I was really taken aback when you said two things during your presentation. One was that you learned how to like reach out and use your resources, both from a perspective of what we have at Menlo, but also off campus. So that's a really valuable, I think, skill to learn as a young adult, is how do you use the resources that you have? How do you communicate? On a day-to-day basis, you meet and you interact with us, your teachers. How was it different to interact with adults off campus? Did you learn anything from how you interact with adults on campus and use that? Or how did that become a part of the learning of this project for you?
I think like the difference between on campus versus like off campus was on campus, like all the teachers are used to like I guess like handling students, and especially because like you were so close, and like you basically knew what was going on with my project, and so I didn't have to like explain as much. I just had to like reach out like
Yeah.
directly and ask, oh, I like was wondering if I could use these resources. But then for like the outside resources, it was like a lot more complex because I had to explain what I was doing, and I had to like kind of like give a like short debrief about my program and like or my project and like what I was doing, like in terms like other than like just like asking for like help or like asking to like interview them. I had to like explain what I was doing, why I was doing this, and then like be again direct with what I wanted.
Bishakha, you have mentored before. Are you finding it that every time that you mentor, is it easier to communicate with our amazing younger all-stars here? Are there some things that you've learned along the way as far
A
as
lot.
our young people?
A lot. I'm always amazed to mentor young people, and the curiosity and the drive with which they want to do the projects. It's amazing. I learn about the topics as much as the mentees. And in this case, similarly, I learned about like CRISPR and the biotech like industry. I had to do similar research as Elise to even like go forward with her and mentor her. So it's always an amazing experience.
Excellent. Another piece of your presentation was about science communication, and you mentioned communicating with a layperson, maybe a peer, about the project versus talking to an expert. How did you figure out how to navigate those conversations? And you also just mentioned about being really clear about what you wanted. How did you, fine tune how you wanted to communicate given who you were communicating with? That's a really hard skill to develop. And as scientists, we're always developing that. How do we communicate our findings, our needs with others?
Yeah, so I think I was really like introduced to like the difference in language from Bishakha, like when I first like we were like discussing the interview, like she showed a video that was, I think I forget like what it was like like specifically, but it was someone explaining like CRISPR to like different leveled students. And I think I really learned a lot from that. And so like after we watched that video, we talked a lot about like the language that like he used with like, there was like some toddlers that he explained CRISPR to, and then like yeah, that didn't go that well, but and then like high schoolers and like college students and undergrads, and then like a professor. And I think we like really examined like what language he used like with a high schooler compared to like with like a professor, and how like with the high schooler he had to like explain what CRISPR was, but then with the like professional, he like basically just jumped in directly and was like assumed that he knew all of that, like, but compared to like the high schooler who he had to like assume that they didn't know CRISPR and had to be very clear with what he was communicating.
As an educator, that just makes me excited. I'm like, that's such a great learning tool. How did you think of that, Bishakha, to use that as a way to allow Elise to better understand how to communicate?
It's one of the tools that I have used personally. So as you said, like scientists keep learning. And while I was in my graduate school, that was one of the things I used. It's a YouTube series where scientist explains their work at 5 different levels of complexity. And it's about a lot of different topics. It was always helpful for me. So I thought it would be helpful for Elise as well.
Great. A resource that I'll have to look into. See, we're learning as a community already here. This is what I love about this program. Bishakha, I know that, I'm sure you were impressed by a lot of things when you work with Elise. Did you come up against any challenges in your mentorship this time around? Were there any moments where you thought, I haven't come across this bridge yet, or I'm not quite sure how to support my mentee in this question or aspect of her project?
Yeah, I think with Elise specifically, she really wanted to do a lot of experiments. And it's when you're doing online mentoring, it's hard to do experiments. So we did the DNA extraction where she had a kit, I had a kit, we did it together. But the gel electrophoresis, I wasn't sure how to help her. Like I had to like direct her to the school teachers and then like sort of like try and explain to her what we want to do. And then she would go and talk to the teachers. So that part was a little difficult. And to be very honest, I wasn't sure. I did tell Elise like that even if she was not able to get that part done, it's still fine. But she really wanted to do it and she took the initiative. And in the last week, she really worked hard to make it happen. And she did the experiment. And it's amazing that she was able to do it.
Yeah, excellent. It's amazing because we were in communication about getting the lab bench set up, and we have an amazing lab technician that supports us, the teachers and the students in their research. And it was amazing timing because in our biology class in junior year, we're doing exactly what you did, which is DNA extraction from cheek cells. The students set up and run a PCR reaction, which we'll do in a couple of years. And then they run a gel electrophoresis. So we kind of had that set up, but it's just sometimes, a matter of personnel and making sure we have the supplies, but getting access to the wet lab takes time because it requires someone to help you set it up and mentor you as you're doing it. So you've built up strong skills. So when you make it to junior year, you'll be able to do that lab with a lot more confidence and knowledge. And then, like I mentioned, our advanced topics in biology class, which you can take senior year, you can actually do labs using CRISPR. So you are already set the foundation and set the stage well before you need to access that. So with that, I just want to congratulate you again, Elise. Thank you, Bishakha, for being a mentor. Really, this program runs on having incredible mentors that volunteer their time and time again. And Elise, thank you for your curiosity. I don't teach you this year, but I know so much more about you, and I hope I'm lucky enough to get you junior year in biology. Other than that, thank you to both of you for participating today.
Thank you.
Thank you.